Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you so much for joining me today for our Stamp Around UK video hop. Our theme for June is patterns. So this is a perfect opportunity to use this cool background stamp. This is a bit of a different style, which I'll show you in person in a minute. So I've not got it in the case at the moment, but really cool. Geometric patterns. So you know I like pattern building and creating my own background, so this one was very appealing when I saw it in the catalogue. So this is my opportunity to use this, and I'm combining it with the everyday arches to create the sentiment, and the this is the die set that goes with it, so loads of different sizes that you can kind of mix and match in there. Okay, so that's what we're using today, and as you can see we're doing a little bit of my favourite, which is emboss resist. So I'm hoping that we can get some, yeah, see, the white is sort of just shining away there in the light. Okay, so this is what I'm going to make today. There will be some links in the description to everybody else who's participating today, so do check out those as well. So I'm sure everyone's going to have some really cool ideas. So like I say, heat embossing today with the resist technique. This one we've used all brights, so I've used Poppy Parade, Daffodil Delight, Azure Afternoon and Melon Mambo to bring in those colours, and where they've intercepted we've brought in a green, and then there's a bit of a purple in there as well. So really cool. And then all the accents are in black and white just to make that all really pop, and just using a white card base there as well. Okay, so let's do our variation on this theme then. So let me show you the stamp set in a bit more detail. I'm going to be using my stamp platform today to help me stamp this, but this is actually a tear apart stamp, so this will actually come apart, okay, and you can use each of the sections individually. But before I did that, I wanted to keep them all intact before I pulled it apart to create one solid background. Okay, so like I say, with background stamps I do like to use a stamp platform. Just going to put my stamp case underneath there just so that I can support that a little bit. And of course we're going to use some Versamark or clear sticky ink to do our stamping. I'm going to pop a little bit of anti-static powder on there as well. Oops daisy, just got out the wrong tub. Here's my clear embossing powder and our Versamark ink. Okay, and I'm just going to press that over the stamp. With the red rubber stamps, it's quite easy to see that you've coated it. It sort of glistens a little bit, so it's easy to see, but you want a really good coating of that, because even though it's in a stamp platform, sometimes you only get one chance at this. So I'm going to pop that over. I'm just going to use this little this is actually a mini ball whiteboard rubber which is really cool for just rubbing across there. There's all sorts of things you can use. Just use your sleeve, you don't have to use anything. This just happened to be going spare in my house. I didn't use it, didn't buy it especially for this at all, but I thought it would come in useful. Another thing that you can use are those furniture pads that help you slide your heavy sofas around. Just checking that's all transferred. It'll be good enough anyway, even if it doesn't quite transfer. See here, I don't know, just sort of adds a little bit to the rustic look of it all. Okay, right, so that we're going to clean off properly in a little bit, and put that to one side. And then that extra bit at the end is going to be great for me to hold on to this while I chuck my powder on top. Okay, so this is our all the embossing inks, powders come in a set of 3. So there's the basics, which is clear, white and black. The black would look good on this actually, it'd give you a nice shiny, rather than stamping it and getting a sort of matte finish. If you use the black embossing powder, you'd get a really nice shiny finish. So black, white and clear. Okay, and then you also get the metallics as well, so that's gold, silver and copper. Okay, so just tapping this off just gently, just make sure there's no globby bits that I want to get rid of, but that's looking okay. Give it a good sharp tap, and then we can just use this tidy tool just to funnel that back in, and most of it will be away. Okay, put that to one side. Just going to grab a little thing from my desk, and we're going to heat emboss that. So I'm going to use my heat resistant tweezers for that and bring in the heat gun. So this will make a bit of a racket, so you can mute your video for a little bit while I do this, or you can enjoy listening to it, as I know some of you do. Okay, so I'm going to heat a little bit on the back and the front, get it all warmed up, and then heat set it. Okay. Okay, so that's now glistening away. Okay, it's harder to see with the clear obviously, but all will be revealed when we add some ink. Okay, right, so we'll just get some scrap paper to protect the surface here, and the paper does warp a little bit, completely natural, just that moisture that's naturally in cardstock will as it dries, it just makes the paper bend. Okay, so we're going to go with a totally different colourway because I'm changing the sentiments as well. Okay, so I'm actually going to use Pretty in Pink first of all, and instead of coming down, we're going to do an ombre effect going outwards, just to give this a completely different look. Okay, so this extra little bit of cardstock before we've trimmed it down is going to help me just hold this into place, and this is going to go down the middle. I'm not worried about I want this to be nice solid colour, so I'm not worried about taking ink off, just going for it. Okay, and I'm going to go sort of across the if it was in sort of fifths, if you like, the middle 3/5, and just sort of not quite to the edge, so that I can bring in another colour from the edge, and then that will overlap with this one and blend it in a little bit more gently. Okay, hope that makes sense. So get that started. Okay, so that's a really beautiful colour. Love Pretty in Pink. It's a really nice pink. I'm not generally a fan of pink. I like this one. Okay, and the other colour I'm going to use is Strawberry Slush. This is one of the in colours that came in with the new catalogue. And like, this is a bit of a chameleon colour in my opinion. It isn't quite red and it isn't quite pink. It is somewhere in the middle. Okay, and that's what I want it to do. I want it to sort of blend in from the sides into our Pretty in Pink. So it's going to go across that edge first. Make that really nice and intense. Make sure I get this top bit. And then we'll bring in that residual ink and start overlapping it with that faded out Pretty in Pink, and hopefully we'll get a reasonable, yeah, it's coming together nice. Okay, so all that residual ink is helping that come across. Okay, so we'll actually, no, because I still need to hold on to it, don't I? So to come in from the top for the other edge. Again, I'm just going to go nice and heavy with that ink along the top edge here, so that we get that full strength colour. We will have to trim this a little bit off the sides, so I'm also mindful that I don't want to chop off all that nice colour. And then that residual ink now, I'm bringing down a little bit into the Pretty in Pink, but not going in across that middle bit. If you feel like you need to intensify the Pretty in Pink again, you can go over it. But I like that. I think I've got what I want there. I hope it comes across okay on camera, especially in this portion, not so much on the striped section. Okay, cool. Now the other thing with obviously, particularly with red and pink inks, will sit on top of the cardstock a little. So sorry, not on top of the cardstock, on top of that embossing. So I've just taken a little lint-free cloth thing, and it's barely damp, because you don't want to pick up too much ink either, just to bring off all that residual ink and make that look nice and bright white again. Okay, the other thing is, while it's sort of a little bit wet from the ink, if you can try and take out some of the warping. makes it a bit flatter. Okay, and we need to trim this down. Okay, so the sizing of this, just so that you don't lose too much of it, I'm going to take down to, this ink's still going to be wet, so I'm going to end up with pink fingers, I think. I'm going to just take the top edge of this off. Whatever that ends up being, so it's a bit tighter than my sample card, that's fine, it's okay. And then I'm going to take this down to 5 1/4, wherever that ends up. So we'll end up with a bit of the pink at the bottom, kind of a cool scrap. Okay, and then width wise we need to take it down to 3 1/2. Okay, so that's almost, yeah, that one's to the edge, so we just need to trim down this little bit. So let's take this down to 3 1/2. You end up with some cool scraps as well. Okay, so again, because you've chopped off the edge, you might find that you want to go over a bit of that with a bit more with the strawberry slush. Not going to worry about it now. Okay, and that pretty and pinkies were sort of off-centered a little bit, but you can do that if you want to. And you can also decide which way up you want the pattern. Okay, I think kind of because the actually the image is sideways on the box, I think. There we go. Let's just intensify that edge a little bit. Okay, cool. Right, we're going to make it pop a little bit by popping it onto a layer of black, and because of the warping you're going to want plenty of tape. I'm just using seal, it should be strong enough. I've not had any problem with that at all. I'm just going to use some of the two-tone cardstock. Cool. Just trying to get that straight. When it's warped like this, it's harder to get it lined up. Just do your best. Then I would recommend, rather than rubbing on the front, I would rub this, you know, burnish it really firmly with a bone folder or something. Block would do, you know, a stamp block. You can you know, go across it like this, or use it flat. Okay, just to give that a real good sort of press down, if you like. Okay, and to kind of carry through the pink theme, I'm actually going to pop it onto a bubble bath card base, just to sort of, rather than white, just again, just another element to introduce, because I'm going to use the sentiment "You Are Loved." Okay, so I'm going to go with this whole romantic theme. Now our theme last month was love, funnily enough, so this could have been an option for that theme as well. Okay, liking it. Okay, but before I stick it down, I just want to see how it looks with the sentiment. Okay, so I say I'm switching it out. So on this one I used Your Array of Sunshine. Okay, and popped that one in. Okay, I'm going to use You Are Loved, and we're going to use Memento ink, and we're going to use some basic white to stamp that down. I might even do it this way just to save on some cardstock. Yeah, it's a bit larger than the ink pads, so I'm gonna take the ink pad to the stamp, make sure it's nice and well inked, and pop that down. Some firm pressure to hold it in place, make sure the ink transfers. Whoops, stamp block going tipping over, and then we need our coordinating die to go with that. So let's see. Yep, I don't think the next one down will fit. Oh, will it? Oh, okay. Let's have a look. It's quite a tight bit, but I think that's okay. So just making sure that top edge, because the actual cutting edge is on the outside of that metal frame, so it looks tight, but actually probably fine that it's just right. So let's do that. Let's just use some low tack tape just to keep that in place, and I know it's coming off the bottom, and that I don't mind that because I'm going to cut it down. Okay, so, and that's what I did with this one. This is about 1/4 inch shorter than it should be with the die. So we'll pop that through the die cut machine. Just putting it in sideways, but at an angle, so that it's not trying to cut that side edge. Okay, and then I'll show you this sort of double die cut method. Okay, so now that's popped out and we've got that sort of space at the bottom. Peel off your tape, peel it back on itself, it's less likely to damage it. But I thought about it, I should have secured it at the bottom, shouldn't I, just to minimise any hazard there. So I want the stitching to come across the bottom, so I'm actually going to, you could even use the arched end if you wanted to have something that was round, but I don't, I want it flat. So I'm going to put the die back in. I'm just trying to feel for those little stitch marks to go back in. There they are. And I want about 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, whatever that is. I want enough room to put my little decorative ribbon on, basically. So we'll pop that in. But I'm not going to take it all the way through the machine. I'm just going to take it through so that that bottom edge cuts through. Okay. So you don't have to go all the way through on your machine. You can just do a little bit and then bring it back again, which is what I'm going to do. So just enough to catch that bottom bit. So just rolled it through to about there and then came back again. Okay, and that's cut that bottom edge, but we haven't cut into it at the top here. Okay, whoops, she says. So we'll peel that away. Just do it gently. There we go. And now we've ended up with a custom shape, if you like, for our die cut. Okay. So like I say, I wanted this to sort of bring through that pink by using this love, you are loved sentiment. Okay, got these cute little birds as well that we can add in, and again I'm going to use the black ink to do that. Could add hearts and things like that, but I'm not really a hearts kind of girl. Okay, so these cute birds are just gonna embellish that because it's a bit of an empty white space without something in the middle. Okay, then I'm going to bring in this ribbon. It's just called white ribbon, I think. What's it called? yeah, just this white ribbon. Okay, so we're going to pop a little bit around there. And we'll just use some tape to secure that, like you've seen me do before. Just makes it look really, really pretty. Just lining it up with those sort of stitch marks. Take it round to the back. Make sure that's nice and secure. Put some extra tape on it if you want to. And we're going to pop that up onto some dimensionals. Just to compensate for that ribbon there, because it's going to, won't sit flat with all that ribbon there. So I'll put a couple here. A couple towards the top. I haven't stuck down my my panel yet, and I am going to do it this way. This is just going on flat, but again I'm going to use plenty of adhesive, just like I say, just to combat some of that warping. It's so pretty, just bright and fun. So again, you can just press on the back, make sure that's nice and stuck down. Pop this where you want it, just looking to make sure it's even left and right before I pop it down. Take it a bit higher actually. Okay, and then we just need a little bow. So if you tie your bow on the spool, there is less waste if you can do it, she says. I always find it hard to do a wrap bow. I just find it easier to do it like this. The bunny ear method. Get those loops straight, put it tight, and then adjust it. Pull it a bit smaller, because when you pull it again you're going to make it a little bigger. Oops. Pinch your ends together and cut them at the same time. They'll be even, and of course we'll use a blue dot, a glue dot to position this. Right there. Okay, and then we're going to bring in the black in the embellishments, just using some of these matte dots. In my customary fashion. This one wants to come, there we go. Okay, I think I might just put this one a bit higher up. I don't want it in line with my other dots. Okay, et voila. So everyone else's projects will be linked in the description. Okay, and this is my interpretation of our patterns theme using the stripes and dots stamp set, keeping it all together as one, and to create a embossed resist background. This one using our pink theme of Pretty in Pink with Strawberry Slush on a bubble bath card base. The original, I used a rainbow of colours from the Brights family, okay, just to make these two cards along the same theme. Thanks ever so much for joining me today for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it and given you some ideas. And yeah, please do share some love with everybody else who's participating today as well. Okay, do stay safe, take care, see you again soon, bye bye.